Right. So, Goldeneye. So this is the one I've been really. I really want to talk about Goldeneye. I think this is my favorite James Bond film, or I think it might not be my favorite James Bond film, but it might be objectively like the best one. Like it just does everything that you want a James Bond film to do. And it has that perfect sort of balance of darkness as well as comedy and action and adventure, and it has everything really rolled up into a nice neat bag, and it's just a great movie. It's wonderful. I think this was probably the first James Bond film I ever saw, because obviously we're now getting into the era of James Bond movies where I was alive when they were coming out. So like, License to Kill, I wasn't alive. I wasn't around in the 60s, but I was there in the 90s. And this film, I believe, is 1995, or is it 4? I can never remember. I feel like this is sort of this is just like the perfect James Bond film. Like it's sort of an amalgamation of everything that has come before, and they were like, we're not going to deconstruct it too much. We're not going to change it too much. We're not going to reinvent the wheel. We're just going to do it. But obviously, it's in the 90s now. Then there's been a bit of a gap because I believe there was some legal issues or legal battles or whatever. I'm not going to get into that. But there was a big gap. There was a big gap because we had, I think, License to Kill, I believe, was 1988 or 89. This is 1994, 1995. Timothy Dalton obviously couldn't return, mainly I think due to the fact that he just didn't want to commit to more movies. I think he would have happily come back for one more movie, but I think he probably just didn't want to do like more after that, which is fair enough. But also, I feel like people at the time, because I mean, obviously, I was alive, yes, at that time, but I was just like a wee little baby, or I was a little toddler. I was, 2 or 3 years old. And obviously, I didn't see it until a couple of years later, when maybe I probably shouldn't have been watching it. I think I probably watched it when I was about 5 or 6, when I shouldn't have watched it at that age. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked, or whatever. But I think at the time, I think most people wanted Piers Brosnan to be James Bond. I think people were excited about seeing this actor who everybody had been going on about and saying, yes, he would be wonderful. He would be brilliant as James Bond. He was in Remington Steele, and I believe like everyone like at the time would watch that show and be like, that's James Bond. That's the guy. He is James Bond. And he was supposed to play the role. He was supposed to play the role in Living Daylights, but because of Remington Steele, yada, 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 I'm not going to get into that. This was just like the perfect casting for the right time. I don't want to say Piers Brosnan is my favourite James Bond. I don't think he is. I don't think I have a favourite. I think I just like them all equally for different reasons. I like, Sean Connery because he's the first one. I like Roger Moore because he's the funny one. Daniel Craig, which I will get into later, he's kind of like the deconstructive Bond. He's the we're gonna take this character and humanize him more and have him have feelings and stuff like that, and we're gonna put him through things that we've never seen James Bond go through before. And obviously he dies in the end. So this is kind of the opposite of that. Like this is just like proper, like what you would imagine in your head. What's James Bond? This is James Bond. And anyway, yeah, so that's enough about that. So when I saw it when I was a little boy, I had no idea what was going on in this scene when I was young. I had no idea what the hell these two people were doing. And I didn't realize, I don't know, this, I don't know what, yeah, and look at his face. Look at his face there. Famke Jensen. Oh, dang. She's probably one of the best, like, femme fatale, like, villain Bond girls. She's really scary and hot, and just, like, to be honest with you, when I was younger, and even when I got older, I wasn't really sure what she was doing. Like, is she squeezing? What's she squeezing? Can you actually kill somebody like that? Can you actually suffocate somebody by, squeezing somebody with your thighs. You know, is that possible? Anyway, if you're gonna go, it's probably the best way to go. You know, at least that guy on the boat, at least he died happy. And actually, when I was a young boy as well, when I was a kid, I had no concept of death. Like you have no concept of sex and death and things like that. You're just a little just innocent, sweet little boy, and you're just watching stuff. You know, I remember watching Braveheart at like 5 or 6 years old. There's lots of head choppings in that. I was confused, like even when he like falls out of the cupboard, when the guy who's been sexed to death, when he falls out of the cupboard, I didn't think he was dead. I just thought, oh, he's just really happy. But no, yeah, enough about that. But that for a young person to be watching that at that age, it's kind of funny. I look back on this and I think it's hilarious. But yes, this has everything that a James Bond fan. This has everything that a James Bond fan wants. It's got the gadgets. It's not like, oh, we're not gonna do gadgets in this one. We're doing gadgets, right? There isn't really a car scene. You don't really get a car like the Aston Martin in the Goldfinger, but there is a tank scene, and the tank scene is just beautiful. It's just amazing. That's a great scene. I like his belt with the harpoon thing. It shoots the rope. I like that. The pen. Oh yeah, the clicky pen. I love the clicky pen. And the guy, Alan Cumming, he's like, I am invincible. But no, he's clicking the pen, and then because that bit is really tense when he's clicking the pen, and you're just like, oh my god, just chuck the pen away. Everyone's gonna die in a minute. But yeah, that bit is great. More on the villains. Sean Bean. Sean Bean is one of my favourite actors. He's on my list of favourite actors. Like, he's there with like Harrison Ford and Anthony Hopkins and Liam Neeson and whatnot. But Sean Bean is there. Like, I was a huge big fan of Sharp growing up as a kid. It's kind of funny, like, for me, like, because to me Sean Bean was like a hero. Like, Sharp was a hero. Like, I would watch that show. Well, it wasn't a show, it was like TV movies. But anyway, I would watch that all the time. And then when I would watch a movie, with him in it, he would either be playing the villain and he would be getting killed. So it was quite upsetting for me. I was kind of rooting for him. Like, he's Sharp. And then in this film, it's the same thing. Like, it played with me a little bit. Like, because I was a fan of Sharp. And when I saw him, and I thought, oh, he's another 00, cool. And he's, he's like James Bond, but like another 00. That's cool. And then at the beginning, he gets shot in the head, and I was just like, oh no, what? That's it, he's dead. Oh, damn it. And then later on, you find out he's a villain, and you're like, oh, no. But anyway, he's a really, really good villain. He's really great. In fact, to be honest with you, you look at him in this film, and you think he could have played James Bond, to be honest with you. Like, Pierce Brosnan's great, and I'm glad they went with Pierce Brosnan. But like, I think Sean Bean would have been more of a Daniel Craig kind of casting. And actually, interestingly, if you watch Sharp, there's an episode with Daniel Craig in it where Daniel Craig and Sean Bean have a little punch up. Sean Bean has had 2 fights with 2 James Bond actors. But yeah, Sean Bean is a really, really great villain in this film. He's always good at playing villains and stuff, but this is kind of like his breakout villain role. And what I like about his character is that you do kind of sympathize with him a little bit. Like, there is a bit where he does this like little monologue where he talks about his parents and stuff like that, and they were Russians and they were kind of betrayed and blah, 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 and all that sort of stuff. And you do get a sense like, oh yeah, this guy's, he's kind of hard done by. The British intelligence, they kind of done him dirty. They raised him up and made him a spy, and then he thought, well, I'm going to use that against you guys, so you kind of like get where he's coming from. And also what I do like about him is that you do see, in the beginning of the film and throughout the whole film, he's like a perfect match. He is James Bond's nemesis. He's just like equal to him. You see him shooting all the Russians at the beginning, and you're like, this guy's a badass. This guy's cool. Like, there's a bit where he's just like shooting people, like no hesitation, like psh, 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 like that, and that's cool. And then at the very end of the film, which this doesn't get talked about enough, but like The fight scene between Piers Brosnan and Sean Bean, I think is really great. Like the end fight bit where they're both, beating the hell out of each other. Like I actually think that is a really really good fight scene. Like it's well choreographed. It's not shaky cam, but the camera is kind of like handheld and it's moving and it feels very energetic, but it doesn't feel too overly choreographed as well. Yeah, like it doesn't feel too matrixy. It feels very much like they're actually fighting each other, and it's a little bit chaotic, and then there is a moment where he does hesitate, and like he could have just shot James Bond, and then actually the bit where like he does go down that ladder, like he just, yeah, that bit. At that moment, I remember watching it recently because I thought I'd rewatch it. At that moment, I thought he could just leave. Like Sean Bean could just go. He could just run away now and then live to fight another day. But no, because he's obviously he really wants to kill James Bond for ruining all of his plans. He then goes down that ladder, and it's not the best place to fight. I'll be honest with you. It's not the best place to fight. And then yeah, and then he falls and dies, and I was upset as a kid because I didn't. I just saw him as sharp. I just saw him like he's my hero. He's my Napoleonic hero. But no, Martin Campbell. Martin Campbell is the director of this. He has directed some pretty good films actually, apart from Green Lantern. Although, is it bad? Is Green Lantern that bad? Because I've seen Green Lantern and I didn't think it was awful. I mean, it could have been better, but like it wasn't awful like the way people talk about it. But he's done some good stuff. Like he did this Edge of Darkness movie with Mel Gibson. That was pretty good. He did the two Zorro movies with Antonio Banderas, which I really, really love those movies, especially the first one. The first one's fantastic. Of course, he did this film and Casino Royale, so he's done two of the best James Bond films. I don't understand why he hasn't been brought back to reboot the franchise again. Why can't he's done it twice. Why not do it a third time? He could do it. He also did this Jackie Chan movie, which I really like, where Jackie Chan was very serious. Like it was a very serious Jackie Chan movie. Yeah. But he's done some good stuff, Martin Campbell. Before they had the same director doing the last like five Bond movies, John Glenn, and this guy just comes in and freshens things up a little bit. New perspective, different kind of cinematography. It feels more, silhouette-y. Like Piers Brosnan looks more. They really hype him up in the beginning of this film when you don't see his face and you kind of think, oh well, it could be Timothy Dalton, but it's not. But yeah, all of that's really good. Like that stunt with the bungee jump, that's cool. And then he has a laser, which he never uses again throughout the whole entire film. Obviously, with a new James Bond, with a new Moneypenny as well. Moneypenny's great. We also get a new M, and it is Judi Dench. The Dench. I love Judi Dench. I think she's fantastic. She's brilliant in everything she's in. She's just one of those. She's one of those actresses. She's like proper Shakespearean, proper theatre actress, proper theatre actor. Thespian. I'm not really going to get into the whole, oh, she's a woman, blah, 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 blah. The film, in a way, just doesn't really make it a thing. I mean, there isn't really there's a bit where she does sort of kind of call James Bond like a sexist, misogynist pig, and sort of does kind of bring up like, you don't think I'm good enough, blah blah blah, because I'm a woman. And then there is a bit actually with Robbie Coltrane where he does say, "I hear the new M is a lady," and then they all laugh. It's not done in a annoying way where you're just sort of like the whole film stops because they want to they want to score woke points. Like this is just, we're telling a story. We feel like changing up M, making M a woman, because why not? There's no problem with M. M can be a woman, a man, whatever. Doesn't matter. Moneypenny can be a black woman or a white woman. It doesn't matter. As long as she's still a woman, that's important. You can't have a male Moneypenny. That would just be weird. Imagine James Bond flirting with a male Moneypenny. That'd be strange. But Q needs to be a man as well. Q needs to be a man. But yeah, Judi Dench, she's fantastic. Blah blah blah. Whatever. I don't know what else I can say about this film. It's just it's a frigging good movie. It's, it holds up. Like I recently rewatched it, and it's still got everything. It's still there. It's kind of just the purest James Bond film, in my opinion. I think it's not too silly with the jokes. You don't have James Bond doing a Tarzan thing. James Bond doesn't dress up like a clown. He's obviously younger. He's not an old man. He's not almost turning 60. It feels fresh. Pierce Brosnan's great in the fight scenes and the action scenes. There's a lot of machine gun stuff in this. He's picking up AK-47s all the time and just annihilating Russians. And yeah, you know what? I forgot to talk about the Bond girl. Yeah, Natalia. She's great. But the reason probably why I haven't the reason why I didn't bring her up before was because of Famke Jensen. Famke Jensen's fit. Like, she just steals the whole show, really. She kind of overshadows her a little bit because, she's just so... My God. But no, this Bond girl's good, and she's not just a pretty face. She's intelligent. She does the computer stuff, She's actually helpful. And yeah. Famke Jensen. Yeah, I became a man when I saw her. Back in those days, right? I think probably my first like movie crush was either Princess Leia, Batman Returns, Catwoman, Michelle Pfeiffer in that film, and this. Oh, and the Power Rangers there was the Power Rangers movie. There's like a woman who shows up with like a stick and she beats up a bunch of like crow monster things. And then all the, yeah, like she dang. So those were like my childhood crushes, like from movies. So yeah. Oh yeah, Nicole Kidman in Batman Forever. She was pretty dang. Dr. Chase Meridian. Are you trying to get under my cape, Doctor? Anyway, yeah, so I've kind of digressed and started talking about other things. But yeah, Goldeneye, Tina Turner. Fantastic song. I used to think actually, I used to think Tina Turner did License to Kill as well, but she didn't. This is the only song that she's done. I'm surprised they didn't bring her back again and again and again for more, for more songs. But yeah, this is a great song, and it's just an all-round great movie. Brilliant action, great Bond girls, great Bond. Pierce Brosnan, he was born to play this role. Born to play. He was destined. He's just got the face. He's just got it. He was just it. He was just, in this film especially, he just had it. He just had the look. When you see him walking through the casino, he's in the suit, the name's Bond, James Bond, he says it. It just sounds right. It's just good. They're not trying to deconstruct anything. It's just, here it is. And I can't believe I completely forgot to talk about this, the video game. I can't do this review without talking about the video game. But yeah, I remember playing the video game. I remember playing it like because we didn't have a Nintendo. I think we had a Sega and then we had PlayStation. Yeah, PlayStation 1. But like I remember going around to friends' houses and stuff like that and playing Goldeneye. I remember actually once like at New Year's, I remember going like I think us as a family we went to another family's house, and then we were all like, all the kids were upstairs playing Goldeneye with, I was there playing Goldeneye. I just remember, if you had 4 controllers and you had 4 people, it was a good time. Good time playing video games. But yeah, no, I never had a Nintendo. Never had one of those. But I always wanted one because I loved Nintendo. I loved playing Nintendo. Like Super Smash Brothers was a good game as well that I used to love. But yeah, this game was great. And, people love this game more than the actual film. Like this is more popular than the film. That's probably another reason why people say that this is the best James Bond film, because of the game, not necessarily because of the film, but because of the game. And it just, you just play through the whole story. It's great. There's been other games after this. I think there was a World Is Not Enough game. I remember playing that. And of course, now we've got First Light, which I've played, and I have reviewed it. But obviously, it's like GoldenEye is just special. Like that video game is just special. It's just something that we all remember. I like the paintball thing. That was cool. But yeah, no, I've got nothing else to talk about. Game is good, film is good. Dang, dang, she fan. Um, yeah. So I'm done talking about this wonderful film. Yeah, we're good. We done it. Pierce Brosnan, great, great James Bond, great replacement. Martin Campbell, great director. Judi Dench, great M. On to the next one. Goodbye. I'm just trying to think. Is there anything else that I can think of? No, I'm done. I'm done talking about this now because I'm tired and want to go to bed. Anyway, bye bye. Thanks. Thank you for watching. Cheers. Bye.